and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. I'm excited about today's special episode. Together, we have weathered the ups and downs of 2020, and I wanted to spend some time today focusing on some of the true up moments, not just for 2020, but for history. On today's show, my special guest and I will discuss the monumental election of Kamala Harris as our nation's first Black woman vice president of the United States. Madam VP, it is an honor to have Black women political trailblazers join me today. Congresswoman Gwen Moore, who represents Wisconsin's 4th Congressional District, and Dr. Christina Greer, noted author and associate professor of political science at Fordham University in New York City. They are both my special guests this segment. How are you, ladies?
Oh, thanks for having us.
Oh, I am thrilled to have you both here. And Dr. Greer, I'm thinking that the online thing is probably the best because Wisconsin and New York's weather can be pretty unpredictable, right?
Oh, yeah. I spent my last years of high school 10 minutes away from the Wisconsin border, so I'm well aware of your weather.
She knows, Congresswoman Moore.
Look, no weather wimps here. Put our coat on, we keep it moving.
Well, I am glad to see that you both are doing well. And we do have a wonderful occasion to celebrate. Given all that has gone on in our world in the last year, I think it's important to take this time to rejoice about the election of Kamala Harris, our first Black, Jamaican, Southeast Asian woman vice president. For this special segment today, which we've titled The Kamala Factor, the future of Black women in politics, I think it's important that we focus on the what's next and the work that needs to be done to continue to propel Black women forward in civic engagement and politics. So before we begin our discussion, I'd like to talk a little bit about you two phenomenal women who have extraordinary careers in politics. You both are motivating and inspiring to me, and I know for a fact that you inspire and motivate so many others with your work and accomplishments. So Congresswoman Moore, you are a significant historical figure as well, not only the first African-American woman to represent Wisconsin in Congress, but you're the first African-American to ever do so. You've worked hard for our state, and I'm sure you must be thrilled to welcome in this new administration.
I am absolutely thrilled to welcome in this new administration and particularly Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. You know, she called me the day before the announcement came out. She must have known just to check in to make sure that I was okay, doing well, socially distanced, and really doing the whole sisterhood thing. This was not something that was necessarily inevitable, but it's something that has been a long time coming. People talk about the tears, folks like my beloved Reverend Jesse Jackson. We saw him tearing up, John Lewis tearing up when Barack Obama was elected. But that same sort of trajectory has been, that pathway has been there for Black women. I'm old enough to have remembered, Fannie Lou Hamer running in 1964, and finally Shirley Chisholm winning, becoming the first Black Congresswoman, also with Jamaican roots, to be elected to Congress, and then running for president in 1972. And I think about Barbara Jordan, who was, of course, a Black Congresswoman from Texas, but she was also a mentor and a professor of none other than Stacey Abrams. And we all know who Stacey Abrams is, larger than life, and was in consideration for that VP position herself. I wouldn't even be surprised if she turned it down. Um, and because she will be the governor of Georgia. And so, and when you think about Kamala, and we start thinking about how wonderful this is, when you the uh, look at the electorate right now, the electorate is much more likely to look like Kamala than ever before, to be someone that is multiracial or biracial, young, and this is the electorate we are looking forward to really changing things. People who look like Kamala. It was so funny. Ilhan Omar, one of the squad from Minnesota. Her daughter was on screen with Kamala yesterday as the CBC was having a little reception, and the Madam VP-elect was on. And the little girl said, "Oh my God, she looks like me."
Oh,
Little Somalian girl. She looks like me, and this is going to have tremendous impact for the going forward.
I love that. Thank you. And it gives me chill bumps when you say that. She looks like me. And Dr. Greer, you have quite an impressive body of work and expertise at a rather young age as an associate professor of political science and author of two books, one, Black Politics in Transition, Immigration, Suburbanization, and Gentrification, and Black Ethnics, Race, Immigration, and the Pursuit of the American Dream. You've actually spent a lot of time analyzing, researching, and teaching about the intersections of gender, race, and ethnicity in American politics. So, what do you see as the political significance of electing Kamala Harris as VP? Do you think that we will see a Kamala factor?
Yeah, well, I think, Vice President-elect Harris operates on two levels. And one level the Congresswoman alluded to, which is, descriptively, how young people can see her and see themselves in her. Keep in mind, we've only had two Black elected female US senators in the history of our nation. Mosley Braun in 1992 and Kamala Harris. We've had zero Black female governors thus far. As the Congresswoman pointed out, Stacey Abrams will be the first Black female governor in the history of the United States. But thus far, we've had none, right? And it's interesting that the Congresswoman mentioned Fannie Lou Hamer and Barbara Jordan. I'm currently writing a book about Barbara Jordan, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Stacey Abrams. Essentially, you're
Put
taking
me on the list for the book.
Yes, you will get a shout out in that book for sure. I'm thinking about the combination of electoral and protest politics coming together and organizational politics in someone like Stacey Abrams, but someone like Kamala Harris, who represents someone who's been in Washington, D.C. Descriptively, as you said, it's important that her parents are from Jamaica and India. It's important that she's a child of immigrants. As the number of children of immigrants continues to grow and they thrive, they succeed in this nation. It's important that she attended an HBCU and is part of the Divine Nine as far as sororities, Black sororities and fraternities that have been around for over a century. So Black people can say, Howard University, we know that Howard University holds a special place in sort of the Black agenda and Black excellence. David Dinkins, Thurgood Marshall, Roberta Flack, Felicia Rashad. I mean, the list goes on and on, but to introduce that to the nation in ways that it has never been done is really important. So descriptively, there's that piece. But then I think really importantly, substantively, to come into Congress, to work with people like Congresswoman Moore and the CBC, to have a voice inside of the White House to say, what are we thinking about immigration and how it affects Black people? What are we thinking about small businesses? How are we moving beyond coronavirus that has disproportionately affected the Black community in ways historically and also present day? And so that's some of the domestic policy that Vice President-elect will have. We obviously know that Joe Biden has great respect for her, but I also think there's been a lot of damage that's been done internationally. And I know that the Secretary of State will go abroad and do that, but so much damage has been done in the past 4 years. There will be times that Kamala Harris needs to represent the United States on behalf of Joe Biden and the American people. And to have a Black woman from this legacy of Black women in the State House, my colleague Nadia Brown at Purdue University wrote a book called Sisters in the State House. To have women in the State House, women, in Congress, women, just two women in the Senate, but now a Black female vice president going abroad and representing the United States as a Black woman, something that white women have not done, right? Something that we have never seen as a nation is incredibly important on a descriptive and substantive level.
Yes. What I did want to bring out, because you both brought this up, this victory, as historic as it is, it's actually a bittersweet one, because Kamala Harris's election as VP means that there will be no Black women in the US Senate. So I do remember back in 1992 as a college student when Carol Moseley Braun actually became that first Black woman in Congress, and they called that the Year of the Woman. So I'm guessing I need to understand what you both feel as far as moving forward. Will we be able to see more Black women take on these positions, specifically in Congress?
Well, I'll tell you, we actually need to do it in order to really balance our priorities. When I stop, I don't want to get off subject, but right now we're talking about providing pandemic relief to people. And to
Mhm.
think that we can't come to some conclusion about giving people right during this season of Hanukkah, Christmas, the winter solstice, Kwanzaa, whatever you want to call it, following this pandemic, we can't come up with money, but the arguments that are on the table with the good white men who are in charge is that they have got to have corporate relief, liability relief from Corona, and that's their bottom line, else we can't get anything else. That is because of the absence, I think, of women at the table and people of color. I mean, literally 69% of all politicians in this country are men, which is why they're always bothering with our body, always concerned about reducing our opportunity to control our birth. And literally 88% of politicians are white. And so while we celebrate Kamala Harris, while we celebrate what we've done here on the local level in Wisconsin, I'm the first Black, it's just a shame almost to still be talking about being the first anything. I remember when I went out to support the first Native American woman who won. I mean, instead of giving her a big hug, I almost cussed her out. Where the heck have you been? For God's sake, this is heavy lifting to have to do without you at the table. And so we have had opportunities to put I'm still upset about Donna Edwards not succeeding because I think Maryland was a place that that has the kind of electorate that can elect a Black woman in the United States Senate, and we missed the boat on that. I mean, the Black Caucus, it was a real teeny weeny thing, but they didn't support Shirley Chisholm when she ran the first time. And so the thing is that we've got to, Black women they keep saying that we're the base of the party and that we provide that kind of leadership. Well, I think that along with our brothers, with Black men who've always, so when we do win, it's because they have been supportive of us and they help us in those endeavors. And so I just think that there's a lot of work to be done, but the answer is yes, we will have more than one Black woman in the Senate someday during my lifetime.
I love that. And certainly we know that so many young people in Milwaukee were motivated during this past election. They withstood long lines, the pandemic, all of that, and they are fired up. And the goal is to keep them fired up and ready to go. And as we wrap up this segment, because we talked about so many outstanding women in the world of politics who have been trailblazers, we know that Carol Moseley Braun went on to run for president and following the path of Shirley Chisholm, who ran in 1972, of course. And many people think that Shirley Chisholm was the first. However, that is not the case. Dr. Greer actually has written some work about Charlene Mitchell to be young, gifted, Black, and a woman, where you compare the presidential candidates of Charlene Mitchell and Shirley Chisholm, who, as it turns out, was not the first Black woman to run for president. So if you could, in probably 30 seconds, tell us about that work.
Right. So Shirley Chisholm is the first Black woman to run on a major party ticket, but we have a long history of Black people running on, I call them alternative party tickets. Keep in mind, Black folks have only been voting with the full, auspices of the law since the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And even that's been repealed. So this is why we're seeing, when we think about long lines in Milwaukee, part of that is inspirational. Part of that's just downright voter suppression, right?
Got it.
And so we should not have long lines. And then really thinking about women, Black women specifically running for the presidency, it's about a pipeline, because traditionally the pipeline is either you're a senator or you're a governor, and that's what gets you to the presidency. But if we don't have women in the pipeline in state legislatures, state Senate, moving on to Congress, it's very difficult for Black women to get elected just to Congress without any sort of pipeline experience in the state house, and sisters in the state house, and how it's more difficult for us to raise money. It's more difficult for us to make the case that we should be the ones representing everyone. And especially on a state level, we know that it's difficult for Black men to get elected on the state level. So it's incredibly difficult for Black women to raise that money to make the case, because quite honestly, we know that Black women are dealing with racism and gender issues, where many men are not accustomed to having a female leader. Many people are not accustomed to having a Black boss or a Black executive. And so the combination of the two makes it dually difficult for Black women to get into elected office and to raise the money that's required to do so. So obviously raising the money is getting much better. Black women are getting much more savvy with donations. We have groups like Higher Heights, Black women supporting Black women for office. And with our money, we put you in places so we can think about people like Cori Bush or Ayanna Pressley, the first in their states as well. So Congresswoman Gwen Moore is the first in Wisconsin. This year, we had the first in Missouri. And just 2 years ago, we had the first in Massachusetts. So we've come a long way, but we still have a very, very long way to go.
Well, I thank you both for coming on and just sharing all this knowledge and energy and expertise. And Dr. Greer, I'm going to ask you to stick around for our second segment. Congresswoman Moore, I love you. And
Me too.
For all of your—
I love you too. And your next segment, you have Senator Lena Taylor there, and she was part of what they called the trifecta. When I won for Congress, then she slid into the Senate seat, and then the late great Tamara Grisby fell into her seat into the Assembly. Yeah. And so we have had that same sort of leadership experience here in Wisconsin, where Black women like Vel Phillips and Bernice Rose and Marcia Coggs have led the way and let us know that we too can lead.
Yes, great way to end this segment. Thank you both. Congresswoman Gwen Moore represents Wisconsin's 4th Congressional District, and Dr. Christina Greer, she's a noted author and associate professor of political science at Fordham University in New York City. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll continue our conversation with Dr. Greer and be joined by Wisconsin State Senator Lena Taylor and State Representative Lakeisha Myers as we discuss the Kamala factor, the future of Black women in politics. We'll be right back.